Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Super Minipla set for Go Liner from Rescue Sentai Go-Go 5 or the Super Train Megazord from Power Rangers Lightspeed here in the States. This thing is massive. I can't get over how big this is. As you can see, I can't even fit the box in frame the whole time. This has got to be the largest, well, one of the largest, if not the largest, Minipla sets I've ever seen. It's crazy how big it is. Moving around, let's check out the box. So you have the combined robot mode there on this side. Over on this side, you have the individual train cars, as you can see. Looking pretty good. And then if we spin it around to the back, I think this is, they kind of do this with all of these where they have what I believe to be like something similar to the original box art for the original toy on the back, which is kind of neat. It shows that you can link all 5 cars on the side, as you can see there. You can also fit the Super Minipla set for Victory Robo in the individual cars. It shows right there. Also comes with this piece for Green Hover to carry the others, which is kind of neat. And then it shows how he has the, like, you know, put the ends back on the fists for the, like, attack mode and everything. So there's a lot of functionality with this guy. Very, very cool. And this box is just absolutely massive. So I'm going to go ahead, put this all together, and then we're going to take a closer look. So here are the 5 individual train cars, fully assembled and stickered up. And you can see that they have a decent amount of stickers, but it's nothing too painful. A lot of just smooth, flat surfaces, so not too bad there. They look great. I love the kind of unified black color scheme with the stripes of color. I think look really sharp. So each of these kind of have a couple little play features. This one has in the front these little guns that pop out, as you can see there. And then you have a connector in the front, and then another one in the back. And for the back one, I find it easier. There's this like little nub in here, which kind of this whole piece is for the shoulder connection, which we'll get to later. But I find it easier to just pull the whole thing down and then grab that one down. But here's the connector in the back. So you can link these together, which we'll take a look at in a moment. I'm going to push the guns back in. Of course, they also have the ability to fit the other smaller mecha inside from Victory Robo. So you can open this up like this. And I have to be careful because there is a hinge piece here, but the way it connects, it always wants to not pull that piece out. So as you can see what I mean. So this is the piece where the hinge is. And it's not a big deal. It's just, it's 2 pegs. And it pegs right into there. But it's just kind of weird when you try to pull it out. The hinge is very tight, so it doesn't really want to move right away. So just be a little careful with that. But anyway, so this opens up, and then there's actually a ramp that pulls out, as you can see. So let me put this down. Get a little bit closer here. So you can pull the ramp out, and then that kind of goes. I thought this came out and clicked into place. No, it does not. And this fell off again. That's my only complaint with this one. It's not the same for all of them, but that little piece falling off is kind of a bummer. But anyway, so the ramp comes out. Bring in red ladder. Pop them in. Close up the ramp. And then, of course, this stupid thing breaks off again. I think over time the hinge will get looser. It's just be a little ginger with it for now. But there you go. He is inside. Very cool. So I'll leave him in there for now. Moving on to number 2. Again, really looks sharp. Like it quite a bit. He also has little guns in the front that you can pull out like so. And then he also has, of course, the connector piece here in the front. If I can actually get it to pop out of here. There we go. It does come out a little bit more. But it's, there it goes. Okay, now it's all the way out. And then same deal over here. Although this one comes out a little bit easier, as you can see. So if we go ahead and pop this out on the side here, And I will attempt to actually move the piece that I need to move this time. There we go. It's a little bit better. And then pop the ramp out. You can see he opens up as well. So we'll bring in Blue Thrower. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to take the weapons off the top or not. I might not. I might not. No, we're good. Excellent. So there you go. Close all up. Very cool. We can go ahead and link these together. There we go. Very cool. All right, so I'm going to put them off to the side. We'll move on to number 3. Now, obviously, he has a different shape than the others because he forms the midsection of the robot. But still very neat. He does have the little guns on both ends, which is kind of cool because he's got a very similar looking front and end of the train car. So you can pull those out, and then he's got okay, so this one just has like a spot underneath for it to connect to, but then this one has the normal connection piece that you pop out. Now this one actually sometimes I find very difficult to open. I don't know why I have such trouble with it. I don't know, sometimes it's not a problem, sometimes I find it very difficult. What I usually do is I'll just kind of grab my tweezers and just kind of get a little bit under here to kind of pry this open. There we go. It's just a weird, like, the little lip they give you to open it up is just not the best. I wish it was a little bit more pronounced or something you could grab onto a little bit easier, but there you go. Open that up. Take a green hover and pop him right inside. Oh, I'm sorry, you have to turn these, that's right. I knew I was forgetting something. And there you go. And then drop this. You kind of have to get these to line up. And it's almost... Come out of there. It's almost like you want to peg these in up top here. And then, I know it doesn't really 100% go. There we go. Maybe. There it is. There it is. Okay. So you can get it in there. It just takes a little bit of maneuvering. But there you go. He is inside. And then we can go ahead and connect this one to this one. So now we've got 3 connected. And I'm probably not going to be able to keep this in the shot the whole time because it's going to be massively long by the time we're done. But let's take a look at number 4. So here is number 4. I feel like you can tell this is definitely going to be one of the feet just because of the way the front of the train is shaped. But it looks good. Wheels, you have the connection pieces on the back here. No problem there. You do have some guns in the front, so you can pop these forward. There you go. And then, of course, you do have the connection here in the front. And then if we open this up, you can see how this is one solid piece. It opens a lot easier. I feel like the ramp on this one comes out a little bit better as well. There you go. We'll take yellow armor. Go up the ramp. Close the ramp up. And then close it right up in there. And you're good to go. And then we'll go ahead and connect this on. And then moving on to 5. Now you probably see this thing right away and say, what is this? This is just like a little storage spot for this. You don't have to leave this on here. But basically what this is it's a little cage piece for Hover Green that you peg in there. And we'll take a look at it a little bit later on. But you bring this around like this and then he can carry around the other vehicles. So pretty cool little piece there. But here is number 5. I always thought the front looked the weirdest of all the trains. I don't know why. This has guns that pop out on the side here like this. As you can see. Close that up. And then you have the connection piece that pops out there. You do have one on the back as well, so if you want to mix and match and you don't have to put the train cars in number order, you can kind of do whatever order you want. Alright, this is pretty sunk in here. There we go. So you can pull that out if you want. And then we'll go ahead and open this up. This is not pulled out all the way, I don't think. Is it? There we go. Now you can pop this out. Although it feels like it should pop out more. I'm not really sure why it's giving me trouble. But anyway, you can pop the ramp out here. And then take pink aider. Slide up the ramp. Close it up. And then pop it closed. And this part came untouched. There we go. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and connect this to the back of yellow. And we're going to have a ridiculously long train here. I'm definitely not going to be able to keep it all in frame at the same time. Zoom out here. But yeah, this thing is huge. I think the box says it's like 910 centimeters or something like that. Or millimeters. I can't tell. I don't do metric. I would guess it's probably at least 2 feet long. Maybe something like that. It's pretty impressive. So, I think it's really cool. I like the long connected train version. Very neat. But let's go ahead. Let's start checking out the combined transformation here. Alright, so we'll start off with number 3. One other thing I wanted to show off real quick. There are 2 pegs on the inside here, and it's going to be probably impossible to show you this, but actually there we go. So there's a peg, and there's a peg. And if you actually take green hover, and you can see how he's got kind of 2 peg spots right there. If you peg him onto those, I mean, it's just loosely. It's just a guide. It's not like a hard peg on, but if you do that, then this will close a lot easier. So just use those as a guide. I figured that out after I was taking him out of there. So, and you also might not want to close the door all the way just because it's an easier way to get it open. But for the transformation, I'm going to have to. So make sure that's pushed all the way in. But also, while I have green hover, I will show you how this little piece works. So you can see he's got 2 pegs underneath, and then you just go ahead. These pieces here kind of fit into these little spaces right here. So you just, it doesn't really peg those in. You just kind of, it's like a recess for them to sit in. So you just go ahead and peg that in like that, and it just tabs in kind of loosely because it's weird, like all this other stuff is kind of in the way. So you kind of have to just, oh, you know what, do I have this on backwards? I might have it on backwards. I do have it on backwards, and that's why it's not working. Okay, so once that's pegged in, and I'll zoom out a little bit here, you can just open this up, and you just kind of like capture claw them. You just kind of come down, you know, grab them up like this, and then you can transport them around. Hopefully they won't fall out like that when you're transporting them. I don't believe these peg in any way. I literally think it's just, you just kind of use, you know, pinch it together, and then you can fly them around like that. So that's how that little piece works. But now that I've dedicated almost 2 minutes to not transforming number 3, let's go ahead and put that to the side. Transformation for this guy is pretty cool. So you come around here to these back wheel pieces, and you're going to swivel them around. Now, they're incredibly tight on mine, so just be careful because you don't want to break this because it's a very important piece for the connection. This is where the arms are going to connect. So you go ahead and swivel these around. And again, just be a little ginger with them, but eventually they will swivel around. So there we go. And you can see that they have a hinge here, which is a little difficult to get out, but this is going to give us shoulder articulation, which is pretty cool. So, come down here. You need to unpeg this front part, but kind of like also simultaneously like pulling this part to the side, so you kind of want to like grab. Actually, they have these little tabs right here. You can kind of see, and that can kind of help you to pull these apart. So you kind of want to get that pulled apart while you're also unpegging this. So come on, sir, unpeg. There we go. There we go. All right, so now you want to pull this apart. There we go. And it's kind of weird because there's also this hinge. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. You can see, if I get this out of the way, how now there's like this little bit of space here. That's what we were pulling this to the side for, and that wasn't pegged. You hear it kind of audibly click into place. But you also have this like weird transformation point for articulation, so you can get out to the side, because this is going to be kind of his thighs, so you have out to the side movement here, you know, kind of other movement there. So you kind of have to pull like a weird, I don't want to say balancing act, but it's just a trade-off of how much articulation do you want versus stability, because the more you kind of pull it out and move that all around, he gets a little floppy. But you're going to take this, you can see these tabs here, they're going to come up and tab up here. And this will kind of become the chest plate of the robot mode. So let me zoom out here. And then this is going to come down around here, and then you have a peg here that's going to peg into the back. So there you go. And then of course you have the head, and you're going to flip these out straight up like this to reveal the head. And I think it looks fantastic. They did a really nice job with this. There are no stickers on the head whatsoever. That is all different colored plastic or paint. Really nice. Nice ball joint there. Nice movement. So yeah, he looks great. Really, really nicely done. So that is it for the torso. Alright, so next up we'll do the two legs, because they're very simple. You're going to bend this up like so, and then you're going to collapse this part down like that. Now you can unhook this. This kind of unhooks, there's a little tab, and then you can kind of pull this out to give yourself like ankle articulation. Then you get side to side, front to back in the ankle. Again, it's a trade-off between stability and posability, so he does get a little bit more wobbly when you do this. If you really want it to kind of stay a little bit more solid, you can keep it clicked in. Also, he has this knee thing that kind of works. You can see how they wanted to give it this like telescoping effect, but for some reason on mine, this piece doesn't catch. It's supposed to catch on there so that it doesn't go like above, but for some reason on mine it always, I think on the pink one it works, and I'll show you in a moment how it's supposed to work, but it should kind of stop about there, but it doesn't really. But anyway, that's your knee articulation once he is a leg. So if we take pink and we push this in, you can see how this stops. It won't go any farther than that. I don't know why the other one doesn't catch, but there's your knee articulation there. And then you just flip this up. So these actually go like this. And there you go. There are your two legs. All right, next up, the two arms. We can go ahead and push this in. This is going to come around, and you can see that that pegs in right there, and that gives you your shoulder connection. And then this is the reason while I was always complaining why this is, why is this two separate pieces? It's because you actually have to pop this off completely right there. So that's why this has to be a separate piece for the ramp. You don't need to do this for yellow and pink, which is why the ramps for them are one solid piece. But you have to pop this off, because what you actually get are these little elbow pieces. And the reason these just can't be in here all the time is because otherwise you wouldn't be able to put the Victory Robo pieces inside. So in a trade-off, when you're not having, it's also why you can't leave the Victory Robo pieces inside while he's transformed. I mean, if you don't want the elbow articulation, you don't have to. You could just completely leave this pegged on and not worry about it. But I'm going to go ahead and peg this on as soon as I realize what I'm doing here. I believe it's like this, yes. And I might have, do I have the wrong one? There's two of them, and they're slightly different. Yeah, here we go. This should go like this. I guess an easy way to tell is you always want the hinge facing forward. So then you're going to connect this back on, and now elbow articulation with it. I think it's so funny how like it really kind of works for that, and then after a while it just hangs out there. So they're like, we tried, we did our best. It's all right though. And then you can leave this part on if you want him to kind of do like the attack, but obviously if we take this off, there is a fist inside. We have hand opening there, you have a rotation there, and then this just pegs onto the front in these two peg holes right here, and it kind of covers the hinge, which is nice. You can see how it kind of covers the hinge by just kind of just sitting over top of it, which is nice. So there you go, there's our one arm. Come over here to this guy, exact same thing. Pop this off, drop this on top, pop this back on, whoops, like this. Bring this piece around. No, come on, give me the whole thing. There we go. Peg that in. This detaches, pegs onto the front. Oh, and the other piece I didn't show you, you can kick this, not this piece, and then this will flip down, and you can get those that like missile pod section, whatever you want to call that. It's a ton. I guess this is just two little. This is actually, they're not individual stickers. It's just one and one. But that is possible. So technically, you could do that when it's just a train car, but it's really meant more for in the robot mode. So there we go. There are our two arms. So let's get connecting. Now that we have all 5 of our components all set, we just go ahead and start pegging stuff in. So you have peg holes down here. You can see right there and there. So you just peg the legs right on. Pretty simple. And then you take your arms. You have a peg hole right there and a peg right there. So you just go ahead and peg that on. And there you go. There is your Super Train Megazord, aka Go Liner. Really cool. I love this. I love how massive it is. And like I said, you can get more articulation out of it. So if you want to unhook the legs and then kind of bring them down so you can get some ankle tilts going on, we can bring these out to the side. Let me unhook this one as well. So, but see, he does get a little bit less, like you saw how he kind of wanted to fall backwards. They do give you a stand, and what you can do is take this, and he's got a little connection kind of underneath here that you can just peg this onto, and that gives him just a little bit more stability. So if you do want him in kind of an ankle tilt pose, but you're afraid he's going to fall over, you can go ahead and use that. And it actually works pretty well. Honestly, it's a pretty good connection there. So I'm pretty happy with that. But articulation-wise, he does have quite a bit. Like I showed you earlier, the head's on a ball joint. So you've got a range of motion there. It's a little tight, but you can move it around. These things can swivel, but I don't think they're meant to. You do have... Now, when you try to use the shoulder, obviously this is kind of naturally what it wants to do. But you should be able to get that silver piece to rotate out. It's just a little difficult, but yeah, it's because it's a little tight. But there you go. I got that to rotate out. So you have that hinge. Of course, you have this rotation. Technically, you do have a second hinge there, but you're not really supposed to use that. You have, of course, the elbow movement there. I don't think there's anything in terms of a bicep swivel, but you do have a wrist rotation there. And then, of course, you have the hands that can open and close like that. I don't think you have anything in the waist, but like I said, you have this kind of weird combination of joints here in the waist, I guess. I guess it's technically his hips. Out to the side, swivel, kind of front to back. There's 2 hinges. So you can kind of make him kick. You can kick to the back, kind of kick out to the side. So it's kind of neat. And then if you want to give him a little bit more stability, you can just kind of push it back up to tighten him up a little bit. You do, of course, have a swivel here where it pegs in. You do have that knee I told you about earlier. It's not the best, but I mean, technically you can get them to kind of, step forward if that's what you're looking for. So there's that. And then, of course, you have all this side-to-side ankle tilt, front to back, if you pull those joints out. So, and then, of course, you do have that stand to give him a little bit of extra stability so he doesn't fall over on you. So I absolutely think he looks fantastic. I mean, they did a really great job with this. Just the sheer size, the fact that it can hold all of the Victory Robo cars inside is absolutely fantastic. I mean, here's Victory Robo for comparison. I mean, that's Super Minipla Victory Robo, and then that's Super Minipla Go Liner. That's absolutely ridiculous, but I love it. Um, he has a couple more features I need to show off. So when he does the attack with these pieces and they clip back over the hands, so you just do that very simply, and then you can have him use that as a beam attack, or I guess for oops. See, all right. You know what? I'm just gonna, for the sake of stability, I'm gonna go ahead and click the ankles back into place because he's definitely a heavy dude, and I do not want him to fall over. I think if I unclick those, I should be able to remove the stand. Yes? No? Maybe? What do you think? There we go. All right. Should be a little bit more stable now. So we take this off and we pop this back over top. Then he can do the dual attack, and then we'll flip this back out. There we go. Now it's obviously going to make him very front heavy, but if you have the ankles locked, he shouldn't be a problem. So that's pretty cool. I think that looks really good too. Oop, I don't want the sticker to start peeling there. Peg these back on here. So yeah, honestly, I think they did a really great job with this. I'm really impressed. I don't think it's perfect. There are certain things that they had to compromise. Specifically for me, the side door for 1 and 2 to get the Victory Robo machines in there. It's kind of a bummer and always pops off, but I understand why it had to be done so you could give them the elbow articulation. It's just kind of a trade-off. There are certain sacrifices that have to be made to serve a greater purpose. So you definitely want the Victory Robo machines to be able to fit inside these cars, so I completely understand. But you don't want to sacrifice something as important as elbow articulation in the robot mode. So this is the compromise they came up with. I get it. I think it works. I love the ability to lock the ankles in place, but also unlock them if you want to move it around. A lot of Super Minipla, even regular Minipla, does this as well. They give you the option to keep it solid, but if you want to get that ankle tilt for dramatic poses, that option's there. There are a lot of stickers with this set, but I really don't think they're that bad. Like I said, it's mostly just smooth flat surfaces, so they're pretty easy to apply. They stick well, stay on there. And yeah, he looks really sharp. I like him a lot. I really, really like this set. I would say it's probably like a foot tall. So, I mean, it's probably as big as like a deluxe Megazord or Sentai Mecha. Well, as big as they used to be. The Kira Major ones have been on the shorter side, but it's pretty, I would say, pretty standard. Does he have one of his... He does have these guns now on his chest, but that was kind of popping out of there. Oh, I also wanted to talk about the stand. This is that stand I showed you that kind of goes in there, and it does give him stability, which is nice. You can actually pop this out, and it's got kind of like little teeth on it, and that's so that it can really stay in there. But that means you can put it in at different heights. So if you want to put it in here, you can. If you want to put it a little bit further down, you can. You have a lot of options. So you can put this all the way. I think you can put this all the way down if you want. I mean, obviously there's a piece of plastic right there to stop it. But so it gives you some options. I mean, if you, depending on what pose you want them in, if you have them in a squatter pose or something, you have the option. And then this also has a swivel up here as well. So if you need to, however you want to angle them, it's a good strong stand, and it gives you a lot of nice options there. So I think that's cool. Also, the little inclusion of this piece for green hover is nice. I don't know why this came with this instead of Victory Robo, but I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen the show. I don't know if this actually does connect to 5. But whatever, we have it now, so that's cool. I like the little piece. Yeah, like I said, I don't really have too much bad to say about this. It's really just a trade-off of stability for posability, mostly in the hips and mostly in the ankles. And unfortunately, depending on how much you extend those joints, it does get a little loose and a little floppy. But it's not really a problem with it being floppy. It's weight distribution. This guy's big, so he's heavy, and depending on what pose you have him in, he's not necessarily going to be stable. So that's why they give you that stand. So I feel like with a combination of the stand and the different joints, you can really get this guy in some dynamic poses. Now, I'm terrible at posing things, so I'm not even going to try. But there's a lot of posability and articulation in this guy. So, someone who's far better at it than me, go at it and send some pics or whatever. But yeah, I think this guy's great. Honestly, if you like Super Minipla and you have Victory Robo, I recommend picking this guy up. Now, he was premium Bandai and he wasn't cheap. And at this point, it's long since closed, so you'd have to try to find it on the aftermarket second party. But I think it's good. I really do. I had a great time building it. I love the result here. And again, just the size comparison to Victory Robo is just so crazy. Like, it reminds me of like a deluxe Megazord. After a while, the stickers start to just look like paint because they're really sharp, and if you can apply them well, they just kind of really adhere and look great. And yeah, honestly, like this guy definitely looks like a model kit to me because he's tiny, but this guy's so big that after a while it just kind of starts to look like a DX Megazord to me. So, or Sentai Mecha, whatever you'd like to say. But yeah, he's cool. So I recommend him. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I think he looks absolutely fantastic. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks so much for watching.